Okay, so there's a young player out there who is on a team, the St. Louis Cardinals, and they're one of the better teams in the National League Central, and but they're still deficient on the pitching side. They are, and so I thought of a trade that can give them a player to replace what they would be giving up at this pretty much the same position, and pitching depth as well from the prospect side. Okay, so the logical trade partner for me for the St. Louis Cardinals are the New York Mets. And the player that I'm talking about is Harrison Bader, one of their young star outfielders, center fielder. And the Mets do not currently have a long-term solution at center field. I mean, everybody thought they were going to sign George Springer. Didn't happen. So this to me is a logical trade fit. And he's under control until he's on a free agent until 2024. So this is a good controllable player at a young age, only 26 years old, that can go to the Mets and give them another bat, another young player, and that young dynamic lineup, and have center field covered. They've got depth pieces. They brought in a bunch of depth players and stuff like that, but Harrison Bader's an upgrade over everybody they have that would be playing that position that currently is. And the one guy that's doing for the most part that or third base would be J.D. Davis, and he to me is an expendable piece. And I proposed a trade not so long ago that they could actually bookend this trade, because if they move J.D. Davis, who plays third base in the outfield, and it can open up third base for them to make the other trade that I proposed for the Mets for third base. And to me, it can be like a perfect fit, just a perfect kind of cycle of two trades. But my trade proposal here is the Mets sending J.D. Davis and Sam McWilliams, who's their number 16 prospect, a right-handed pitcher. But I like him because he's projected to be at the major leagues this year. He's a big guy. He's like 6'7", 240 pounds, big dude, and he's major league ready, or just about major league ready, which is what the Cardinals need. They don't need another guy who's not going to be ready until 2024. But the guys that they have now, they need somebody, a young arm that's going to go in there and hopefully make a difference. Even if he's at 3 or 4 or 5, doesn't matter. They already have, they got Flaherty and they've got Martinez. So those two guys are kind of locked in at the top. But behind them, there's too many question marks. So this guy could potentially come in there and at least give them another solid performer in that rotation. Yes, and obviously they'd be giving up their starting center fielder, but you can plug J.D. Davis in center field as well. He'd be more than serviceable. I mean, they've got third base covered with Arenado, but this could be a swap for a swap here. So Bader's an upgrade, so which is why I'm packaging a pitcher with Davis, obviously, to go to the Cardinals. So because they're going to need a robust package, and J.D. Davis is just more than serviceable. And he tends to be a little bit of a better outfielder overall, but Bader's on a controllable contract. He's young, and his ceiling is a little bit higher. So I'm talking about defensive outfielder J.D. Davis. He's a solid player. So the Cardinals would be getting a really solid outfielder in return for the young guy. And I know it's usually, kryptonite to give up young positional stars, but this is a way of getting somebody who's not far away from him in return, and a pitching prospect that could help them in the near future and potentially the long term as well. So that's why it seems to me like a logical trade, because it fits both sides' needs. Okay, and the Mets still have a need. They're still wildly inconsistent, even though they've been playing better recently. Center field's still not really soft. I mean, they've got the covers, the corners covered. They've got most of the infield covered. So, and they've got a lot of the other positions. But center field, and that's a position you want to have a long-term solution in. Anyway, Bader affords them that opportunity until at least 2024, and then they can see what they have. And in the meantime, they can keep developing other players, and who knows who's going to be available by then. There'll be a ton of guys available. But this trade right here, Harrison Bader on the Mets uniform, and that Mets lineup, and that Mets outfield, and then putting J.D. Davis in that Cardinals lineup, which is a little bit more veteran-laden, and in that Cardinals outfield, be a good veteran presence in that clubhouse that's already filled with a lot of good veterans, and he'd be a nice complement to the offense they already have. He'd complement Goldschmidt, Arenado, and a lot of those other young players. So to me, this is a good trade. And again, like I said, it's not always easy to give up young, potential star talent that are controllable, but this is a way to do it, and getting somebody in return who's not far, and getting a pitching prospect. So there might be some better options for Harrison Bader, and I'm probably gonna get hammered by some Cardinals fans, but this is the time to do it. This is the time to capitalize on assets, and I don't think the Cardinals would essentially lose the division or be forfeiting the season by making this trade. So because if they're going to go down, if you're not going to make it, it's probably going to be the pitching that gets them at a standstill at some point, doesn't get them any further at some point. So that's why I'm proposing this trade as well, because it gives them a pitcher in return. So that lineup is good enough already that they can move a Bader and get it Davis. They need more pitching. And I don't see them making a blockbuster trade for a starting pitcher like a Max Scherzer or somebody like that. I just don't see it happening. Could I be wrong? Sure. But I don't see it. This is a way of getting a good position player who's already there and a top minor league prospect who's major league ready, or just about it. So that's why it's a logical trade to me. You let me know what you think. Put your feedback in the comments down below. I got a lot more of these trade proposals coming. You're not going to want to miss them. Always look in the description. If you enjoyed this, hit the thumbs up. If you want to see my new ones, hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you know exactly when they're coming. Thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you next time.